Her voice was unlike anything the world had heard in decades, smoky, soulful, and heartbreakingly real. Amy Winehouse wasn't just a singer, she was a force of nature. But behind the voice, behind the fame, was a story of brilliance, love, addiction, and tragedy. A story that ended far too soon but will never be forgotten. This is the story of Amy Winehouse, the girl from North London who became a legend, the artist who poured her soul into every lyric, and the icon whose light burned too bright, too fast. Amy Jade Winehouse was born on September 14, 1983, in Southgate, London. From the beginning, music was in her blood. Her father, Mitch, was a taxi driver with a love for Frank Sinatra. Her mother, Janice, a pharmacist, encouraged Amy's creativity. But it was her grandmother, Cynthia, a jazz singer herself, who planted the deepest seeds of music in Amy's heart. From jazz legends to Motown classics, Amy absorbed everything. By her teens, her voice carried the weight of old soul's husky, soulful, and drenched in feeling far beyond her years. London had given birth to a raw, fearless talent, but the world had yet to discover her. By her mid-teens, Amy was already chasing stages. Her voice, raw, sultry, and soaked in jazz, quickly caught attention. At 16, she signed with Simon Fuller's management. By 18, she had a record deal. In 2003, Amy released Frank, a jazz-inspired, brutally honest record that introduced the world to her wit, her pain, and her unshakable presence. The album was nominated for the Mercury Prize, praised across the UK. But Amy wasn't chasing fame. She wanted the truth in her songs, nothing else. In 2006, Amy returned with a sound deeper, darker, and more vulnerable than before. Back to Black wasn't just an album, it was a confession, carved out of heartbreak. Back to Black shot Amy into superstardom. The album topped charts across the world, and suddenly, the North London jazz girl became an international icon. But behind the success was pain. Back to Black was written in the shadow of a turbulent love story, one that would define and ultimately consume her life. With the world watching, Amy's private battles became public drama. At the center of it all was her relationship with Blake Fielder, civil, passionate, chaotic, and often destructive. Their love was undeniable, but it was also toxic. Addiction, arrests, and constant media harassment pushed Amy further into the shadows of fame. The same honesty that made Amy a lyrical genius also made her vulnerable. Her pain was no longer just in her music, it was in every headline, every photo, every whisper on the street. Amy's voice had given her the world, but fame came at a devastating price. Her struggles with addiction and anxiety were no longer private battles, they were front-page news. The pressure to perform, the hunger of the media, and the silence of isolation. Amy was being pulled apart from every angle. Behind the fame, Amy was trapped, adored by millions, yet lonelier than ever. Amy's loved ones tried to pull her back from the edge. Rehab was not just a song anymore, it was her reality. There were moments when Amy looked ready to rise again, glimpses of the fiery brilliance that had once captured the world. For every setback, there was a spark of light, proof that Amy's soul was still fighting. The final chapter of Amy Winehouse's story was as tragic as it was inevitable. Despite brief moments of hope, her demons were never far behind. She wanted peace, but the weight of fame, addiction, and heartbreak pressed harder than ever. On July 23, 2011, the world lost one of its brightest voices. Amy Winehouse was gone at just 27 years old, forever joining the tragic 27 Club. Amy Winehouse may have left this world far too soon, but her voice, her songs, and her spirit remain eternal. Her album, Back to Black, became one of the best-selling records of the 21st century, cementing her as a once-in-a-generation talent. A voice as timeless as Billie Holiday, as soulful as Etta James, yet as modern and raw as the streets she came from. She was vulnerable, she was brilliant, she was unforgettable. Amy Winehouse, forever the soul of a legend.